What's going on, guys? It's Johnny, aka Tropical Fish Guy. Today we're going to talk about how to take care of baby guppies. In the guppy tank here, we've got some nice baby guppies. There's one up there. There's some back there. They like to hang out. Here's a bigger baby here. There's some babies up there. And of course, when they come out, they are a lot smaller, but I'd like to show you these that started to get brave and starting to come out. Yep, they're hanging out up there. So they're a little bit bigger here, but so talking about guppies, guppies are live bearing fish, and I'll do a full blown video on taking care of guppies. But in this video, we will focus on how to take care of baby guppies. We're going to focus on how to take care of baby guppies. So they're pretty much the same as adult guppies, but they do have some special needs that I'd like to focus on today. I'd like to talk about today. So we got a nice pair. I'm sure I've showed these before. Nice pair of boy tuxedo guppies. There's the girl there. Now, I'm not sure what these babies are. You won't be able to tell until they get a little bit bigger. There's the male there. There's some female regular guppies there. There's nice pair of guppies there. Or no, that's not a pair. There's two males there. And I'll show you how to sex guppies here in this next video on guppy care. But the first thing we need to talk about is feeding the baby guppies. So when you notice that guppies are in the tank, so you'll want to pay attention to feeding these babies. They pretty much eat the same food with a few exceptions as the adults. Okay, so any type of flake food, whatever you got on hand, tropical flakes, any kind of flake food will do. I've got a variety of flake food here, and you definitely want to give them a varied diet. You know, let's see. Here's another one here that I've got that all of them seem to like. That's a good brand there, and I'll put a few of these in the link in the description. They'll also eat some freeze-dried foods. On this here, I just crunch them up and dump them in the tank. And they're getting kind of excited because I think it's feeding time. So what you want to do is you want to take the food and you want to just crush it up, okay? Crush it up in your fingers and pour it in the tank. And the little micro granules will fall down. They'll go behind the plants and stuff, and the baby guppies will nip on it. They also like to eat algae. They'll pick on any type of green hair algae you got in the tank, any algae that's on the side. They're omnivores, so they do eat meat and vegetables. There's a couple there. There's a few there hanging out. Yep, you can see those back in the back. There they are. So you do want to be able to make the granules small enough to where they can actually eat them. They'll also eat baby brine shrimp. If you got any frozen or freeze-dried baby brine shrimp, I got some in the freezer. They've also like to eat pretty much anything. What I would not feed them is any kind of hard pellets at the beginning. Now, pellets like this or pellets, any type of pellets, even the small pellets, they might not be able to eat at the beginning when they're super small. But as they get older, of course, you can feed those as well. But they don't hurt. And if you're feeding the other fish in the tank any kind of pellets or anything, it's not going to hurt anything. They are also good at being a cleanup crew. They'll eat the flakes that are on the bottom. They'll come and eat some algae tablets. Algae tablets are a good source of food for them. Of course, there might be some competition. with the other fish, and they probably will get out competed for those pellets, but still doesn't hurt anything. Food, wide variety of food. Just make sure you crush it up, and crush it up to where they can actually eat it. You'll see this guy here picking on the algae. He's not a baby, but all guppies like to pick on that green hair algae there. That's why I haven't removed it yet. Also, side note, the shrimp, there's one there. They love to hang out in that algae. That's why I haven't removed it. And actually, green algae is a sign of a healthy aquarium. It's just that us humans don't like to look at it, but it doesn't bother me none. It's just a sign that you've got a well-balanced, well-established tank. The second thing I want to talk about and let you guys know is they need a lot of hiding spaces. So the best thing for them is any kind of live plants. They really prefer live plants, but if you don't like live plants, get you some fake plants, it's all good, or get you some decorations, some rocks, nooks and crannies that they can hide, because guess what? The mommies and daddies will eat the babies. Kind of crazy, but that's the way it goes. Just remember, if it will fit in a fish's mouth, most likely it will be lunch. So make sure that you have plenty of hiding spaces for them. Temperature-wise, they can handle a wide range of temperatures. You might not even need a heater in your tank if you keep your house, 70s to 80s, whatever. But I do have a heater back there hidden behind all those plants, so I do keep a constant, stable temperature. That's what I'd recommend. One other big factor is that if you've got a filter, such as a hang-on back filter that has a lot of flow, you want to be able to put a kind of a sponge filter or something on the intake tube of that filter so that they don't get sucked into that filter, or else you'll have fewer babies. So what I do on every hang-on back filter that I have, and I did a video, I'll put a card up here somewhere on filters, I had to clean your filter. I use these pre-filter sponges. 12-pack isn't that much. You just take that filter and you would stick that in the hole. There's a hole right there. You'd stick that in that intake of the power filter so they don't get sucked up. Definitely don't want to get them sucked up. You want to be able to let them live a good, long, healthy life. And as far as the guppies, for me, they breed about once a month or so, 4 or 5 weeks. So it's really cool and fun to every now and then to be able to see baby guppies pop up, and you say, wow. I mean, it's a really neat feeling to see these babies popping out. There's one there. So definitely lots of hiding spots. Pre-filter sponge, just a sponge that will allow them not to get sucked up into the filter. That's not too cool. Feeding wise, crushed up flake food, baby brine shrimp, crushed up freeze-dried food. It's all good. They'll eat anything. You can cut up a piece of zucchini, maybe a quarter of a zucchini, a quarter of a zucchini out there in the tank. What else? Eventually they'll come out like these guys are up here and join the rest of the tank mates. They'll grow, they'll breed, they'll be a nice addition to your tank. They do like hardness in the water, so talk about water parameters a little bit. We said that the temperature, they can handle a wide variety of temperature. pH, good. They do like minerals in the water. They do like hard water. If you don't have any type of, most of a lot of the water, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of the water in America has a lot of minerals in there. It's hard water, especially down here in Texas. We've got a lot of hard water, but for some reason at my house we have softer water, so I add some equilibrium, which restores and maintains mineral balance. With a planted tank, You do not want to add salt, or else you'll kill the plants. Plants do not like a lot of salt, and especially the shrimp. If you got shrimp in there, they definitely don't want salt. Shrimp or snails. There's a snail right there, up there. So you got to keep in mind the tank mates. Now tank mates, like I said, they can live with other community type fish, other live bears, platies, mollies, guppies, swordtails, that kind of thing. They can live with other community fish. Good bottom feeder would be like some corridors. I've got some corridors in this other tank, this community tank, running around here somewhere. There's one back there hiding. Those are good. Snails are good tank mates. Some tetras. We've got some neons back there. Got some glow light tetras back there. Other guppies. There's a balloon molly, another live bear. Got some Rio tetras. Got some endlers. Got a wide variety of community fish. There's back there. There's another corridors back there. Don't know if you can see him, but he's rummaging around for some food back there. So tank mates, other community fish, as long as you have good cover for them to hide when they need to hide. pH, a good stable pH. They like a higher pH, but they can handle a wide range of pHs, anywhere from 6-8 to all the way up to 8 something. They can handle pH ranges that are higher. They prefer higher pHs, but whatever, as long as you have a good stable, not acidic water. They don't like anything below 7 too much, but I would add maybe some calcium. I've got a cuttlebone. Cuttlebone releases calcium, as well as I add some crushed coral to the gravel there. That helps also with calcium for the plants as well. There's a plant tip for you, as well as the cherry shrimp. There's a nice red cherry shrimp. They like the calcium as well. So a higher pH, if you can, do that. And I've got a video on how to maintain a high pH, how to raise pH in your fish tank. But oh, there's a pretty female there. There's one that's hiding over there. So it's pH wise, temperature wise, food, tank mates. So also filtration for baby guppies. Okay, we talked a little bit about the power filter. Another good filter for baby guppies is the sponge filter. So I will do a video on sponge filters, because they are very good filters for guppies. There's no moving parts. It adds oxygen to the water. It does a good gas exchange by those bubbles up there. Another good filter would be under gravel filter. I've got an under gravel filter in here. It just filters the water. There's no high water movement in the sponge filter or the under gravel filter. The power filter, the hang on back filter, does create water movement, which is fine, which is good. For guppies, make sure they have, obviously, water quality is a key, not only for baby guppies, but for all the fish in general. You want to make sure that your water quality is good. No ammonia, no nitrites, a good stable pH. And of course, you can test your water. Very important to test your water at regular intervals. And I recommend this API. Recommend this API Freshwater Master Test Kit. It tests pH, ammonia, nitrite, nitrate. I also have a hardness test kit that you might want to get, but for the most part, that will work just fine. I'll put a link in the description below on that as well. But water quality is the key, not only for babies, but definitely for babies. They don't tolerate high ammonia or nitrites or anything like that, especially being babies. Saying that, I have had guppies and baby guppies survive through a cycle. So they are hardy fish. Guppies are a hardy fish. Sometimes not as hardy as they used to be, especially since they've been bred, but that's a different discussion. They are good fish to keep as community fish. They make a great addition to your fish tank. And it's, like I said, it's a great feeling to feel when you see these cool babies. And when they grow a little bit bigger and you see the colorations on them, then that will make it even more fun and interesting. Another side note about baby guppies is I do feed them more often than I would normally feed the tank. So obviously I feed this tank more since there are adults along with those guppies. As long as you have good filtration and possibly, if you can, have a lot of live plants, they will take care of the extra load of the extra feeding. You know, I feed these babies probably twice a day. I would normally feed the tank, you know, feed the fish in the tank once a day. But twice a day isn't so bad. Sometimes you can even do 3 times a day, but that may be overkill. Just depends. As long as you have a good amount of food for the baby guppies, that's fine. Get some algae, get some algae tablets, that type of thing. And the hiding places I would recommend is Java moss. There's some Java moss down there. Lots of moss growing here. Nubius is good hardy plant. Java fern is real good. It's a good hardy plant as well. That can handle low light and little fertilization. We'll talk about that in a different video. But for the baby guppies, give them some good food, a good temperature, what I say, 70s to 80s. You know, they do like it higher, you know, so maybe, you know, 75 onward, but they can survive in cooler temperatures as long as you keep it above 72 or so. That's about as low as I keep it, but I have a constant temperature here of about 78 to 82, depending on the day, depending on if I open these windows or not. But higher temperatures in that range, 78 to 82, that's probably perfect for me. For you, it'd probably be okay as well, but they can tolerate higher ranges. Good sturdy fish. Alright, so as far as lighting, you know, baby guppies like to have a good daylight cycle just like most other community fish. So, you know, 4 to 6 or 7 hours of light a day, depending on if you got plants. That's a good range to start with. You know, just start and see how they're doing. And, you know, any type of light will work for guppies. Baby guppies, they really don't care. I've got a regular old, I think I did a video on this new 10-gallon light that I got. It's a pretty good light. I'll put a link in the description below on the type of light that I got for this 10-gallon tank. But let's see, environment we talked about, plants, don't let them get them sucked up. The food is very important. Bloodworms, brine shrimp, frozen brine shrimp, flake food. I think that pretty much sums it up for the baby guppies. Monitoring their health, you definitely want to keep an eye on them, add the supplements that suggested earlier. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty easy to take care of, really, as long as you give them the few basic things that they need, especially the food, temperature, hiding places, don't get sucked up, that type of thing. So that sums everything up. Let me know if you have any questions. I might have forgot something, but just off the top of my head, that's what I do to care for my baby guppies. Just want to share with you guys that I've got those babies, and it just makes me feel wonderful. And I think that it will make you feel wonderful too when you have the opportunity to be able to get baby guppies. Oh, live bearers. They are live bearing fish. So when the babies, the mom doesn't lay eggs. So when the guppies come out, they just pop out as tiny baby guppies. That's very cool. So one day you'll see the mama is real fat, and the next day not so fat, and you're like, hey, what happened? Maybe that's the sign of she had babies. So look around in the tank and see if you can find any of these cool little critters. So leave me a comment if you have any other questions, and unless I skipped something, forgot something, definitely give me a comment. I answer all the comments. Give me a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. share with someone who you think might benefit from this video, and happy fish keeping. Peace.